going forward? Look, I think much of the economic analysis so far around tariffs is a bit misplaced and perhaps even superficial. So there is some concern that tariffs will raise prices on consumers, not only in the US, but also in other consumers around the world. That may be true in the short run. In the long run, prices will level out. There's also cases where tariffs can actually lower prices. So it really depends upon elasticity of demand, elasticity of supply, optionality within the marketplace. If you have options to sell your product somewhere else, you will. You also have an option to lower your prices to maintain access to certain markets. So with regard to Canada, with regard to Mexico and the United States, where the media focus has been for the last 24, 48 hours, 72 hours, I think what we'll see is some short-term rise in prices and then a leveling off. And I think it's important that we always remember, what are these issues really about? And at least in the case of the United States, it's about border security. So the answers to this are going to be fairly straightforward. So we'll wait and see what Mexico does, we'll wait and see what Canada does. But if I had to guess or suspect what President Trump is focused on right at the moment, it's really the border and security around that border. I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I think there will be some retaliation, there will be some negotiation, if you will, over this tariff. But I think it's important for us to remember, the oil that comes into the United States from Canada, for instance, is refined in the western half of the United States. And those refiners have options. And I'm not going to suggest that the options are easy ones, but they can retool their facility to take U.S. oil or U.S. light sweet oil coming out of places like Texas. They have that option. The question is whether or not Canada has options for its crude oil. Can it build a pipeline to go west and serve Asia, or can it build a pipeline to go east and serve Europe? It can, but it takes a very long time to do that, and it's not quite clear that they will or can do it. So their options are fewer. And in that sense, if they want to maintain access to the US market, they will reduce prices, not raise them. So the American consumer becomes the beneficiary. And I think President Trump understands that very clearly. He's a shrewd negotiator, and he sees that leverage being in his favor, at least with regard to oil. Other products I'm not as familiar with, and I don't know what happens, in terms of the negotiation between Canada and the United States.